Hello, and welcome back to Excel Tips and Tricks with Eoin Part 4. So over the previous few weeks, we've been talking about working with worksheets within a workbook, and we've been looking at how to group your worksheets, how to copy those worksheets. So I'm going to finish up with the worksheets, and obviously we can move on with a few more tips and tricks as we go on through the weeks. But the couple of tips that I want to give you, this is going to be a nice short one today, but the couple of tips that I want to give you are in relation to, again, the sheets. But firstly, I'd like to talk about how to change that default number of worksheets. So you can see for my 2010 Excel 2010 users, every time you open up a workbook, the default number of worksheets is 3, and that's been the same for most previous versions of Excel as well. For my 2013 users, the default number of worksheets is 1. So what I'd like to show you here is how to change that default. So let's say on average you work with 12 or 15 worksheets, and you're sick of having to insert worksheets every single time. Now, as you can see, when you're using 2007, 2010, or 2013, it's not very difficult, but it's quite time consuming if you're doing that every single time you open up a workbook. So in Excel 2010 or 2013, what we need to do to change the default number of worksheets is we need to go into the options or the settings of Excel. So I'm going to go into my File tab here. I'm going to come down from File down to Options. I'm going to open up the following options. It's pretty much the same in 2013 as well. And it's under my Excel options, under General, on the right hand side here, you'll see Include this many worksheets. Now in all Excel workbooks, and I'm talking far back as 2000, 2003 and so on and so forth, you can have up to 255 worksheets in a single workbook. If that hasn't changed, so for my 2010 and 2013 users, it's still 255. So you can see if I hover over here, it should be able to tell me that I can enter any whole number between 1 and 255. So just to show you this working, I'm going to change that 3. So I'm going to say 12, just represent maybe the 12 months of the year. So that's 12, I'm going to click OK. Now obviously, when you go back in and you've clicked OK to the settings, don't panic, nothing has changed. But this setting will take place the next time you go into Excel. So if I close out of this current workbook, and I'm just going to open up a brand new one. I'm going to use the shortcut key Control-N, and you can see it's from now on, every time I open up a brand new workbook, that's the number of worksheets that will open up for me. So the second tip I want to give you here is to do with the number of worksheets you're working with. So imagine I have a workbook that has potentially 255 worksheets in it, and suddenly I'm thinking, okay, I need to get a sheet of 100. Well, as you probably discovered, in Excel 7, 10 and 13, you have these navigation keys here. Okay, the 2 on the left and right either bring you to the very first worksheet or the very last, the 2 in the middle bring you through each one individually. So if you can imagine, I want to get the sheet 100, I could be there all day trying to go next, next, next. So here's a little tip I want to give you. The next time you want to navigate those worksheets, all you have to do is come down to these navigation keys, doesn't matter which one, and instead of left clicking, right click, and you can see it brings you up a list of all the worksheets in that workbook. All I have to do is simply select the one that I want, and it allows me to jump directly to it. Okay, so a very, very useful tip if you've got lots and lots of worksheets within your workbook. And the last thing I'm going to finish up with today is a nice little shortcut with regards to navigating those worksheets. So the next time you want to move up and down your worksheets, rather than having to jump on your mouse all the time or your touchpad on your laptop, what you can do is on your keyboard, hold down your Control key, and if I hit my page down button, you can see it brings me down through my worksheets. If I do Control page up, it brings me back up through my worksheets. So a nice little shortcut to remember if you're moving through your worksheets is Control page down to move down to your worksheets, and Control page up to back up to your worksheets. So I hope you enjoy the tips and tricks. And don't forget, if you're looking for more of these, or if you're looking for suggestions maybe for tips and tricks that we could put up, don't forget to like our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/online.